because Serie B is it's a wild league and a lot of things go on. So
it's a wild league. Well said. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of. We're gonna laugh a lot about our predictions.
Guaranteed to be wrong. Just
absolutely 100%.
𝐏𝐸𝐸 are the only team in Veneto for this season because Vicenza failed to get promoted. Venezia went up to Serie A.
I would be happy with Canarese and Reggiana being last and second to last. We are going to be touching upon each and every one of the teams on the league, so stay with us, interact with us, and together we're going to be speaking Serie B. Roma!
Welcome to another episode of Speaking Serie B, episode 8 now. We will be covering the last round of Serie B and previewing the next round of this match day before the international break. I am 𝐏𝐸𝐸, 𝐏𝐸𝐸 creator and president, I should say. And together with me is Elia, the Italian guy, or we could call him the Spezia guy. So, Elia, how are you?
Very good. Thank you very much for being here, Jake. Thank you for the introduction. And yeah, always good to be here speaking Serie B with you.
I felt much better there. I'm getting better at these intros. So
we have to improve. That's the goal, to improve after each live. So
yes,
hopefully we'll get better with time.
Absolutely. Well, it was pretty eventful Serie B action, as it always is. But we'll be talking about these games in a little bit, but. Obviously, there were some shock results or, a little bit of a surprising results. Pisa losing for the first time, and that remains Spezia, the only undefeated team as of right now in Serie B.
Indeed.
How are you feeling? Because there is an international break coming up, which means there's another break. It feels like we just got off. So, how's the mood in Casa Spezia right now?
No, there is a lot of enthusiasm. Nobody, I think, was expecting beginning to the new season as positive as we are witnessing. So, as you said, right now we are the only team that didn't get defeated yet, especially after Pisa lost with Juve Stabia. And this is how awesome and amazing Serie B is. The newly promoted team like Juve Stabia can beat a team such as Pisa, who is really showing that they can at least achieve the playoff spot for the season. So there aren't any pre-written, results. It's really difficult. We've been playing from the beginning of the season with our predictions, and they are extremely difficult. So this is the beauty of the championship that we are commenting every week. Here every Wednesday. So it's good. We're happy. We're pumped. But we know that it's a very long. The Serie B championship is a marathon. So we don't know how long it's going to last, but we are enjoying it until it lasts. Until we're enjoying the present in Spezia. Now I know that Cittadella is not doing as great as we would like to. So tell us about the most recent. Game and what is the current situation? Is the coach still safe, or is he starting to be at risk? What's the situation with Cittadella?
Yeah, so Cittadella losing this Friday against Frosinone 2-1 at home at the Tombolato. This was a game where I was saying earlier in the week that this is a very important game coming for Cittadella because they had lost against Mantova the weekend before, and including the game against Frosinone, they had, they lost, quote unquote, another game throughout the week because, as you recall, last Wednesday was the ruling by the Court of Appeals that overturned the result on the field between Cittadella and Pisa, which resulted in a 3-0 win for the Nerazzurri, which means that Cittadella had lost a point and they had added another loss to their tally. So with the Mantova loss, with the Frosinone loss, that basically means, in theory, Cittadella lost 9 points in 1 week. So even Gorini said, the coach, and Marchetti, how would you say this? It's like in Italy they say like the DS or the DG, like direttore sportivo.
Direttore sportivo and direttore generale, I guess.
Yeah. So Marchetti, that our DS,
Mhm.
he and Gorini said, it was really a week to forget because just
Ah,
on
beh.
top of Mantova, Pisa, and Frosinone, they had lost. So with this case, I was saying that this was a very important game. Frosinone had not won yet going into the match, had been really struggling. And if Cittadella really wanted to, kind of kickstart their season again and get a much needed boost after they needed a response, because in Mantova they did not play well in the week with the Pisa decision in the court. They really needed a response, and that really did not play out. So Frosinone getting a 2-1 win, and it's not. I wouldn't. It's not a good atmosphere building at the Tombolato, especially considering this upcoming week, Cittadella do play Sassuolo, which, as you know, is a very strong team in Sassuolo, or in Reggio Emilia for that case. So
Right.
definitely, it's not a good situation currently 7 matches in.
So during our previous conversation, you mentioned that Cittadella was coming from a very bad performance. How did they perform, though, in this most recent game? Because according to the stats, like, they did lose, but they've been in the game at least. Am I making a mistake here?
So what I saw in Mantova the weekend before was just a team that really did not have anything going up front. In this Frosinone game, I'd say it's a little bit disappointing because you expected them to see, a fire, a really rejuvenated team, and a response to that game. But really, in the first half, there were better moments in the attacking third. Still not really enough to really test the goalkeeper, to really put pressure on the Frosinone defense, and that really led to Frosinone's attack. Marchetti and Gorini did say that they thought it was, the Gorini said, I think it was the worst game of the season so far, which I don't know. Like, to me, it seemed like it was slightly better, but still not enough for a really good performance for Cittadella. So I didn't.
They want to turn things around.
Yeah, I would say, okay, maybe it was slightly better than Mantova, just because they had a little bit more of attacking threats up front. Not a lot, but still a little more in my eyes. That's just my
Chiare
opinion.
occasioni da gol, leggo. I'm reading here. So the neat opportunities, basically 2 and 0.
And
And 1 and
it's
0.
frustrating for Cittadella, because the 2 Frosinone goals were scored off set pieces, one off a corner and one off a penalty, with a little Penenka, chip down the middle that made it 2-0. Claudio Cassano getting a goal, and that made it kind of interesting at the end, but Frosinone getting their first win. It was really, that's kind of all I have to say right now.
There was a penalty I just read in the stats. Was it what do you have to say about the penalty? Like, sometimes, they are debatable, but was it actually a...
I think it was Angeli, the defender, kind of got there late. The VAR, the referee initially didn't call it, but he went to the VAR and called it for a penalty. I think it was, but and I'd say maybe the last 10 minutes, Cittadella really put on the pressure, and that was probably their best spell of the game. Really just pounding the Frosinone goal, coming close, but eventually it wasn't enough. And if you had saw on our Twitter feed, and I think you saw it on our when I sent it to you, it was the players being greeted by the curva,
the supporters, the fans.
They were chanting, we deserve better, and what was like the other one? It was now even I'm forgetting, but it was, one of them was like, we want people who fight. That was the other one.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, and I'm sorry at the same time. So, do you think that some changes are on the horizon for Cittadella. I mentioned the coach because oftentimes, especially in Serie B, especially in Italy, the head of the coach is the first one to hit the ground. So, but we proved last season that wasn't the case in Cittadella. Do you think that things could actually change in light of the current results, or there is nothing to worry about yet?
So Cittadella is a unique club in this sense because they don't believe in changing coaches really rapidly.
Right.
They don't believe in changing things drastically. They really stick to their principles and really to their philosophy, and that is to trust the coach, trust the players being given, and really get things together. The only thing is that yes, Guarini has been under pressure these last really few months. In 2024, it's not been a good year for Cittadella. So I don't think he's going to go anywhere. It really the only reason I think the only way I see him really leaving is if he resigns himself, if he steps back. But I don't think the club is really going to sack him unless Cittadella end up getting relegated by the end of the season.
Right.
Because if he had survived that, he went 8 games on a losing streak last season.
Last season, that was a record, I guess, right?
Yeah, and if he survived that, then I don't think he's gonna go away. But the good thing for Cittadella is yes, they do have Sassuolo next, but after the international break, which I think is coming at a really good time, just to kind of take a break and kind of to set back. I think they have 2 very winnable games upcoming. That is at home against 𝐏𝐶 and then away against 𝐏𝐸𝐸. 2 games, which I think is, I think at least 4 points needs to be the goal. 1 win and 1 draw, I think would be.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it as we move forward. But very good point.
Speaking of records, Cittadella did unfortunately break an unwanted record this past game against Frosinone. That is now the 11th straight game at home without a win, which is a club record currently.
Ouch! I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I did that little bit of digging since 1989, where the records on Transfer Market really started to appear. I went through every home game and couldn't find a stretch longer than 11.
You're amazing. For more stats like this, follow 𝐏𝐾-𝐸𝐭 at Città Calcio USA. Indeed, this deserves a pitch of your channels again, of your platforms again, because this is unique content, Jake. You deserve it.
Okay, so might want to take it with a grain of salt because through 1973 to 80 to 89, there could have been a longer streak, but from what I could find, there was not a longer streak more than 11 straight home games without a win.
Correct us. If you're following this live, or if you're watching this later, or if you're listening to it on Jake's podcast, let us know in the comment and we'll talk about it on one of our next episodes. Correct us should we be making mistakes, but engage with our content to help us to improve it and make it more accurate as possible, right?
Yeah, and so I was going through that. The longest I could have found that was close to it was 10 games, and that was under Foscarini in 2008, I believe. So yes, 11 home games without a win. That is now a new club record. Currently, as far as we could tell from the records, but yeah, still no home win since January. Man, that's unbelievable. Like I can't phantom. Like it's so long.
It sucks. It is what it is. It sucks.
Really,
to be able
to forget. Like I think Cittadella would be really okay just to end the year right now and just to start with 2025. But they still have some home games, and I think the game against Cosenza is a very winnable game for Cittadella. So. Let's see what happens.
We'll see what Alvini has to say about it. But anyhow, let's proceed with our comments about the games that have been played during round 7 of Serie B. So we talked about Cittadella Frosinone. Then there was Bari Cosenza 1-1, and we'll go through our predictions towards the end of this live. I did not follow the game because Sassuolo Spezia was playing at the same time, and of course I was doing the live reactions, with all the other fans that did not follow Spezia in Reggio Emilia, so we were connected and chatting about it live. But I don't know if you had the chance to watch it or if you know more about Bari Cosenza 1-1, Puccini, and then in the final minutes at the 87th with a penalty, Fumagalli was able to equalize. Go ahead, please.
I didn't watch the game, but reading the comments, reading the analysis is that Bari did receive a red card in that second half, and it was. They were saying it was a debatable. It was kind of a unfair red card, and then Cosenza getting the penalty at the end. I don't know if that was a penalty either. So I think Bari felt really hard done by that call, but Cosenza getting a point at the San Nicola, so it's pretty good result for them, I'd say.
Indeed, I agree. Although they would have 9 points if I'm not mistaken, but so they are proving, they could appear like a better team that they look.
Yeah,
and even last season they perform. Yeah,
I think they are much better than.
I wish them well. I like the Wolves. I like the Wolves because I sympathize for Rovini. I'm sorry for the man. And there are two very good journalists that I'm friends with that follow Cosenza. The next game is Carrarese-Reggiana 0-0. Carrarese scores another point, a crucial point, an important point for their championship, knowing, at the bottom of the table right now. And Reggiana, which is going to be the next opponent of Spezia in Alberto Picco, as Roberto Tegoni explained us during the Monday Night Live for the Spazio al Prossimo, which is one of the programs that we have on our channel, told us that the main focus for Reggiana has to be avoiding relegation. Everything else is extra, but first and foremost, dobbiamo salvarci. We have to save ourselves. We have to avoid relegation. That's what Roberto Tegoni said. And I did not follow the game as for the same reason that I didn't follow the previous game, Bari Cosenza. So if you know more, please go ahead, Jake.
I did not follow the game, but a 0-0 draw. It's not a, let's say, it's not a game where you look at it, it's like, ooh, I want to watch the highlights or something, or ooh, I want to.
It's pretty dry.
Oh yeah, but like you said, it's a point I think Carrarese will take. Even though they do move to the bottom of Serie B, it's still get a point, and I believe it's their last game in Pisa before they move back to their own stadium in
Stadio dei Marmi. Mm-hmm.
Against when they play Mantova and then Cittadella. So we'll see.
Nice.
I can't really say much because I didn't watch it in 0-0. Not much to say.
There have been a few occasions though. Look, numero totale di tiri in porta, like shots on target 17-10, within the post, I guess 6-4. So sometimes, even I think it was Cosenza Spezia 0-0. It was kind of an entertaining game. It wasn't boring at all. So of course, all of us wants to see, I don't know, 4-3, 4-2, like Spezia Carrarese. But, as we say in Italy, non è sempre domenica, it's not always Sunday. So sometimes you can have some emotions, even with 0-0. And 0-0 was also Sassuolo Spezia. In Reggio Emilia, the Popolo Bianco, the Spezia fans, outnumbered the Sassuolo fans, which is not a hard thing to do by any means, by all, with all due respect. And if you ask a lot of people, it has been a boring game. Of course, 0-0, as we were saying earlier, cannot be that fun to watch. But maybe because I was doing the live and we had a lot of interaction, by now I can say that there are a lot of almost friends. Like, I don't know any of these people, most of the people that are commenting live, but it's cool to see familiarize with their names, and enjoy the commentary, to comment the game with them. So probably it's because of that experience that I enjoy the game more than for the show that the players put up. But I don't have much to say because in the beginning of the first half, Spezia dominated Sassuolo for the good 10-15 minutes. Then Grosso changed the lineup by not touching the players, of course, but just by reassessing the players that were on the field, and they started to turn things around. And Sassuolo, as you see from the stats, they had much more ball possession. They didn't. I can't say that they dominated because we were always keeping them on their toes with the counterattacks, but we didn't have the game in our hands as we did in the first few minutes of the first half. The first half. Then the same happened in the second half. For the first few minutes, we really started to assediare, to siege their goal. We weren't able, of course, to score. And then they came out. But all in all, I would say that we had more opportunities they did. And they really defended themselves perfectly from our palle inattive, because they knew that Spezia was particularly dangerous in those situations.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Once I saw this game end 0-0, I was like, oh boy, that must have been just grueling game to watch. Like a Saturday afternoon game. It's bad. I mentioned to you it was a partitaccia, right?
Right. Partitaccia. Good point.
Yeah, but now you're saying and like, oh, maybe it wasn't, because like you said, there was definitely some occasions for both sides. But I think, Elia, I want to ask you: Are you happy with this result? Because there was some opportunities, but was this opportunity lost? Would you say are you still happy with the road point, just given that you're on the road and still undefeated?
Yes, I'm happy because we are imperfect. The English average, winning in at home and not losing. Drawing abroad, especially with Sassuolo, that they are a newly relegated team from the major league. Like these guys, like a few weeks ago, were playing with the big boys in Serie A. So yes, I'm happy. I don't want to look at it as a lost opportunity, although we had the chances, especially with 𝐷𝐸. 𝐷𝐸 at least had 3 clear opportunities. I was looking for the stats here. It's the first time that I'm familiarizing with the Serie B 𝐏𝐵 website, where they say, there you go, chiare occasioni da gol sprecate, 1 each. I don't know which one they are referring to for Sassuolo, but I would say at least 2 for Spezia, both of them with Giuseppe Di Serio, who has not found a goal this season just yet. But no, I'm happy all in all. And again, maybe I had more fun because I always enjoy to watch the game of my own team. But yeah, no, 0-0, a draw with Sassuolo abroad, I'll take it. I'm happy.
Perfect.
Next game, go ahead. You can start to introduce it if you want to, Jake.
Cesena Modena. This was 2 of the newly promoted teams. Cesena getting a big win on Sunday. It was 3-0 at one point, and then Mantova kind of got one back, and then Cesena making it 4. But who played very well in this match, according to a lot of things, is our good friend Mirko Antonucci.
Okay.
Yeah, he got an assist in that game, I believe on the
good for him.
Fourth goal. But pretty, like we've been saying, Cesena really a strong team coming up, and expected to finish at least in the top half of the table. Mantova, I think, I still don't really know what they're doing this season, because I feel like 1 week they're winning, 1 week they're losing. So it's still kind of
unpredictable
team. Still 10 points on the board. It's much better than Cittadella for that in that case. So, I think just another good win for Cesena.
Chiare occasioni da gol sprecate, 4. Not only they scored 4, they could have scored more according to the stats. But what's astonishing is the ball possession. Like, Modena sorry, Mantova clearly dominated 67-3. I mean, dominated as far as ball control, which means nothing. They just kept the ball longer between their feet, but they weren't able to convert any of this possession into occasions, or most of this possession into occasion or in goals. But if you look at the stats, you wouldn't foresee, at least I think, such a big result. 4-2. It's kind of a neat win for Cesena. So good on them. Good on them. Next game, I did not see this coming. Juve Stabia Pisa. Please, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, Pisa finally defeated after 7 games in the Serie B. We were talking about Juve Stabia, kind of being a surprise. I don't think we expected them to be very good and very strong this part of the season. Already 11 points on the board for them, getting a big win against the Capolista in Serie B. So I think this was bound to happen for Pisa. I think they were gonna lose eventually, but Juve Stabia, I think, have been playing very well this season. Getting starting the season with an away win against Bari, and then if you remember a few weeks ago when they played Palermo, even though they did lose, apparently they did play very, very well and had.
You were telling us that, I remember.
Very unlucky,
right?
In some cases. So I think this is just really showing that they are possibly the real deal, and I think them showing this is they should be okay come the end of the season. But I will say that ever since Pisa won that appeal last week, they have lost 2 straight games, one in the Coppa Italia and then now this week against Juve Stabia. So who knows what's happening.
So maybe
now.
The luck turned on them, huh?
Yeah, the karma always comes back.
Right. Anyhow, yeah, I did not see this coming. Like, as you said, Pisa was doing such a good championship that sooner or later, just like Spezia, you can't win them all and you can draw them all. Sometimes you gotta lose. It's just part of the game. It's in the deck, it's in the cards. But I would have seen it maybe lose with Brescia a few weeks ago, not with Juve Stabia. So congratulations to Juve Stabia. By the way, I was checking the name of the players. Maestro, Fabio Maestro, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, is the guy that gained the penalty that gave them the possibility to gain the lead with this game. And I watched just that part. I watched fractions of the game. Man, he did an awesome play. He went through 2 players. Then they put him on the ground, and he was fighting on the ground. He regained the ball. He went forward, and then he gained the penalty just outside the box. That was a good play. It was just fun to watch, entertaining to watch. That's good football right there. So
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of looking forward to playing Juve Stabia at the end of November, because I'm really interested. I still haven't really watched the full game because Cittadella more often or not play at the same time. So really looking forward to playing them soon. They got a big game against Sampdoria this weekend, so that's on Friday. So maybe I will be able to watch that. Right.
The next game is that we're going to be talking about Modena Sampdoria, mentioning Sampdoria, that finished 1-2-3. Sampdoria winning an away game with Modena. Have you watched it? What can you tell us about it?
I unfortunately did not watch it again, but Sampdoria may be starting to get back on track after winning the Derby della Lanterna against Genoa and now getting a win against Modena. Obviously, Coda scoring, he always scores. I'm really tired of that guy, and he always scores against Cittadella, and it won't be my surprise that he will score. I think he also, Cittadella is one of his is one of the teams he scores the most goals against. So keep an eye on that. But Tutino scoring, so both Coda and Tutino caught a goal and assist each. So pretty good win for Samp there. So yeah.
Yeah, both of their main guys those that are allowed to buy these players, even when they can't, sooner or later they pin out. So no, good on them. Good on them. What I didn't see this coming either. I don't remember what was our prediction, but yes. So 1, 2, 3. I did not watch the game. I don't have any value to provide as far as feedback on this game. I'm sorry for Modena. I like the Cararini much more than I like Sampdoria, but what counts. Congratulations to Sampdoria for this. Is it the first away win of the season for Sampdoria?
I believe so, because they only had 2 wins coming in and they beat Südtirol at home. So yes, I believe it is the first away win.
I figured, yeah, that's what I was guessing. Salernitana Catanzaro 0-0, 0-0 for Salernitana Catanzaro, and this is another one of those dry games that we commented earlier. And that proves that Salernitana is not the protagonist, although coming down from the main league of this season. We foresaw, I guess. I don't remember what you said about Salernitana in the predictions we made at the beginning of the season, but I did foresaw that Salernitana would have struggled this year after the really difficult season they had last season in Serie A, and after reinventing the entire team, basically. And Catanzaro is not the Catanzaro that surprised us all last season, coming up from Lega Pro, but is still a difficult team to play against. Although there is some dominance here, according to the stats, by Salernitana. But 5 corners to 0 for Salernitana.
Yeah,
but please go ahead.
This didn't look like a good game either. I just don't like games like these, even though Cittadella plays these games more times than not. Really interesting. The shot total is Salernitana 13, Catanzaro 2, 0 on target for Catanzaro. So this didn't look like
the Salernitana goalkeeper could have just gone out for could have gotten a day off.
Yeah, maybe, but. Yes, not. I don't think this is a good result for either side. Catanzaro, yes, it's a point on the road, but still only 1 win in the first 7 games. Salernitana, I think you have to be winning these games if you want to at least survive at home or survive in the league. Still, I don't think it's still very convincing moment for Salernitana, so I don't think this result really favors either team.
I agree. You dissected the game correctly, according to my point of view.
We had
also
2 Monday games now, so
yeah, go ahead. Südtirol Palermo.
Yeah. So the first one was Südtirol against Palermo. I'm not sure why this kicked off earlier than the other game, but Palermo getting a win. I thought this was for sure a game that Südtirol was going to pounce on, because Palermo, a long trip up north to Bolzano, the longest road trip of the year for them, in fact. And Palermo just coming off a Coppa Italia defeat against Napoli at the Stadio Armando Maradona. I thought this was a game, definitely, because Südtirol had shown that they are pretty strong at home. So I thought this was going to be a Südtirol win, but credit to Palermo. They came out and pretty convincing win, getting 3 goals on the road.
Yeah, I think with their predictions that we're going to see in a bit, I predicted Palermo to win this game, as I think that they're just gaining a good condition and they are a corazzata. Like, they are one of those teams that once in condition, although they didn't start well at all, they're going to become protagonists of this year league again. And the last game of round 7, always on Monday, speaking of protagonists of this league, was between Brescia and Cremonese. And with this win, Brescia really proves that is going to be among the main teams that are going to have a chance to gain the major league again, because they won at home with Cremonese, who has clearly stated that they want to play to achieve the promotion this season. So good on them for this important win that I did not watch, but that it's a statement to the rest of the teams, I guess. Please, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, because Brescia, once again, were 3-0 up by halftime. I believe that's the second home game for Brescia where they were up, because if you remember, against Frosinone in the last game, they were 3-0 up at halftime too. So this is really I don't think we gave Brescia enough credit at the start of the season, because they are a really solid team. They're a good squad. Really a team that I expect to at least make playoffs in this season. So Cremonese kind of growing into the game towards the end. They did get 2 goals to kind of make it interesting, but once again Brescia really proving. They got ex-Cittadella manager Rolando Mairan on the bench for them, so pretty good. But Cremonese still I still think we're waiting for them to get kind of in a second gear, because they have shown really good bits of quality this season, like the away win against Sassuolo, even still getting a draw against you guys, against Spezia. But still, losing games, I think, where they should be at least, getting a draw, like the game against Cosenza, a game at home against Palermo, and now against Brescia. I think you expected them to at least get a point in this. But yeah, this was really a good win for Brescia in their which now puts them in 3rd place.
Indeed, and that's exactly what we're checking now. The current table that sees Pisa with 16 points, followed by Spezia with 13 points, and then we have Brescia and Sassuolo at 12. So the difference in points between Spezia and Sassuolo, of course, remains the same after the Saturday game, but they each gained a point on Pisa that lost, and Brescia is coming closer at the 3rd place. And right up there at the 5th place, there is the surprise, one of the surprises of this season, together with Juve Stabia, Cesena with the same point as Palermo and Juve Stabia, as I just said. And then following Cremonese and Mantova. So the newly promoted team, on the base of their enthusiasm and the nothing to lose mentality, as you were mentioning before we started, are performing above and beyond expectations, I would say. And then there is Bari, Reggiana, Südtirol at 9, Modena, Sampdoria, and Salernitana at 8, Catanzaro and Cittadella at 7 points in the orange spot. And then in the red area, we have Frosinone, Cosenza, and Carrarese. Cosenza, that would have 9 points, as we said earlier, so it would be sitting between the 10th and the 13th place together with Bari, Reggiana, and Südtirol. But the reality is only this, that at the bottom of the table, we have Carrarese, Cosenza, and Frosinone with each 4, 5, and 6 points. If you would like to add something, then we can move on to analyze our predictions before analyzing the next round.
Well, we were talking about Cittadella performing bad, but if you want to say a nice thing about them, they did gift Frosinone their first win of the season. So in that case, they're being nice. But no, in all seriousness, this is also why I called this game against Frosinone a really important one, because if they had lost just like they did, they would have been closer to that relegation spots. And 7 games in, you don't want to be there. And if they had won, they would have kind of separated them a little bit and kind of a momentum push. But now, especially going against this weekend against Sassuolo, this is definitely a tricky situation to be in.
Yeah. On hindsight, this was scontro salvezza as of right now, right?
Yeah. So
hindsight, is that how you say it?
Yeah, like relegation rivals.
Retrospective. On retrospective, now that we know the results, that you're so close, it could look like yeah. All right. So let's take a look at what were our predictions.
Yeah, let's see what I got. I'm
let me find it.
Curious.
Okay, I have to go. Okay, just 1 second, and they should be. Sorry, give me a second. I'll put a brief spot of one of our previous chat while I'm finding it. 1 second. Sorry, I wasn't as prepared as I thought I would be.
It's because Serie B is it's a wild league and a lot of things go on. So
It's a wild league. Well said. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of. We're gonna laugh a lot about our predictions.
guaranteed to be wrong. Let's just say,
Absolutely, 100%.
Cittadella are the only team in Veneto for this season because Vicenza failed to get promoted. Venezia went up to Serie A.
I would be happy with Canarese and Reggiana being last and second to last. We are going to be touching upon each and every one of the teams on the league, so stay with us, interact with us, and together we're going to be speaking Serie B. Roma! All right, here we go. This is the result, yes, perfect, of the round 7th together with our predictions. The first one was Cittadella Frosinone. And yes, we could go slower, but do you want to read them, Jake?
Sure. Yeah, we both said Cittadella were going to get the win, but it was actually Frosinone. So 0 for us.
We were very optimistic. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sassuolo Spezia, it ended in a draw. We both actually predicted a draw, so we both get 1 point. How about that? Bari Cosenza, it ended in a draw, and I was correct. You said it was going to be a
good job.
Bari win, so 1 point for me. But you get 1 point now because you did say it was going to be a draw in Canarese Reggiana, and I said it was going to be a Canarese victory. So you get 1 point back on me. But then Cesena Mantova, I did say another Cesena win, and you said it was going to be a draw. I get 1 point there. Modena Sampdoria, I predicted a Samp win, and that ended up being the case. So another point for me. We don't get any points for Juve Stabia Pisa because it ended in a Juve Stabia win, and we both did not pick that. Salernitana Catanzaro. For some reason, we both agreed on a Salernitana victory, but it ended in a draw. So 0-0 there. You get 1 point for predicting a Palermo victory. It ended up being a Palermo victory against Südtirol. I did pick Südtirol, and that ended up not working well. So Brescia Cremonese, the final game. Brescia ended up winning, and we did not pick that for whatever reason. And the 0. So
I actually gave the victory to Cremonese. Look at that.
yeah, that's surprising.
So,
but final.
Go ahead. Yeah, final result. 3-4. Wait for this. Wait for this. This is the best part. It's a for now.
Tied up. Wow.
This is awesome. This is more exciting than I foresaw.
Yeah, I ended up gaining 1 point on you this past.
Because I gained the lead last time after being behind, and then now I would have never thought that I would come back. Like the first 2-3 rounds, I figured, man, I don't even stand a chance. At least it's fun. At least it's fun because a lot of points. You can score a lot of points every week. So
this is kind of a title fight as your own because Spezia kind of fighting with Pisa at the top of Serie B. Now this is kind of our own our own title fight.
Yeah, right. It makes it more fun. That's all there is to it. Anyhow, so let's go. Let's talk about the next season games, round 8, and let's. I don't know. I didn't clean these. Sorry, these are on the previous one. All right, they didn't play yet, so we don't know how they're gonna end, and we don't even have our predictions. So done. These are the one from the previous round. I just copy and pasted them. Okay, so Sampdoria, Juve Stabia. Go ahead, you can start.
Sampdoria, Juve Stabia. I know Juve Stabia coming off a really big win against Pisa, but I'm liking how Sampdoria is playing. I think they have a lot of momentum now, so I'm going to predict another Sampdoria victory. So 1.
Let me find the 10. There you go. 1. Sampdoria, Juve Stabia. No, sorry. This is the result of the game. This is your prediction. Okay, perfect. Now I'm getting the grip. Sampdoria, Juve Stabia. Sampdoria is a better team on paper, but again, even Juve Stabia, I foresaw losing with Pisa. They beat Pisa. How can they not beat Sampdoria? So I'm just gonna say X, and we'll see. Next game, Sassuolo Cittadella. Oh ma! Okay, after the game that I saw of Sassuolo with Spezia, I have to say 1. But Cittadella can't keep on losing, guys. I'm so sorry. Sassuolo, so in Reggio Emilia, by the way, right?
Yes, at Mappe Stadium.
I'm sorry, Jake. I'm gonna say 1.
No, I totally understand. That's a very realistic outcome. This is the second time Sassuolo and Cittadella plays this season, and the second of 3 because they played in the Coppa Italia in August. So it's we've already kind of had a preview of what to expect, even though that game was in August and still a long way to go from there. But man, I expected a response in the Frosinone game that did not. I think they had a full week to really digest this. What was really a disaster week of 9 points being lost, if you include the court case going against in Pisa. I understand that Sassuolo is a difficult team. We've seen it. I think they're really starting to get in their groove right now. I just think that Guarini is going to fire them up, and I think they are going to finally get this response. So I'm going to say a draw. I'm going to say X for this.
All right.
I don't see a win.
All right.
But I think this draw would be really needed going into this international break.
You know that I root for you, but that I understand. You understand why I predicted what I predicted. So yeah, it is what it is. Good. I root for you. I would rather have Cittadella win, also for the sake of the standing. So
yeah, that's true.
Or at least drawing. So
we'll see.
I'm on your side, guys. I'm on your side. Pisa Cesena. Jake, you start.
Pisa Cesena. Now these two teams actually meet last week in the Coppa Italia. So really, this is kind of like a round 2 in a case. I'm just going to go with another Pisa victory. I mean, they're at home. I think they have learned from the Coppa Italia game, and after 2 straight losses, I think they'll get their stuff together. So 1 in that case.
Pisa Cesena. We saw how tough it is to play with Cesena, especially in the first half, because they really come out of the gates. Is that how you say? They get off the gates.
Yeah.
A tutta birra, really all out. Pisa just lost with another newly promoted team. They can't allow that to happen again in Pisa. They have to prove that they got their stuff together now, and they.
Interesting case is that Cesena is very strong at home. 3 wins, 1 draw at home, but still yet to record an away win. Only 1 draw on the road from 3 games.
And they are up there, by the way, too. Like Cesena is like 5th. Should they win? Okay, should they not lose? They would really prove themselves to be. I always use the word protagonist because I lack a better vocabulary in English. But seriously, like 5th place, 7th place for Juve Stabia, 9th place for Mantova. Basically, 3 newly promoted teams in the playoff spot or at the verge of the playoff spot, because Mantova is at 10 points with Cremonese, that's 8th. So really interesting championship. Anyhow, back to the prediction. Okay, it's a game. I'm going to be bold. I would like this to happen also for very personal reasons, supporting Spezia. So Pisa Cesena, I'm going to say 2. Take that.
Wow. Bold prediction, but
bold prediction indeed. Yeah,
very realistic. I mean, Pisa, I know it's different this season, but Pisa last season lost to Lecco, who at home, who had not won a game to that point. So we'll see what happens.
So you see, there is some ground to it. I had no idea that was the case. Thank you for reminding us. But anyhow, the next game is Frosinone-Carrarese. Sorry, what were you saying?
Oh yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Frosinone-Carrarese. Carrarese draw, 0-0 with Reggiana, and Frosinone won with Cittadella. Frosinone plays among, on his hometown. So Frosinone-Carrarese, I'm going to say 1.
I'm going to have to agree with you. 1, I can't see Frosinone losing at home against a newly promoted team. Especially, Carrarese has been, we expected them to struggle this season, and they are kind of struggling right now. I think they will lose especially after Frosinone kind of, got that thing off their back of not having a win yet. And so after that win, I think they'll get back to winning ways and win this game.
I agree. That's one of the reasons why, should they have not won the most recent game, I would have thought more about it. But I think that, they're going to be excited and eager to get a good result again. Next game is Spezia-Reggiana, but is yours to predict first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Spezia's, I'm going to go with another Spezia win. I think.
All right.
They're proving themselves at home to be a really good team. Difficult place to play in Alberto Pico. They're really proving themselves. Reggiana, I don't know, and I don't know what to expect. They're kind of up and down. Just losing drawing in that case against Carrarese. But I think D'Angelo has really changed the mindset for Spezia. So I think for that reason, I know I've already picked it. I believe that's now 4 home teams to win. But I think
it is what it is. Yeah, by the way, that with Reggiana is another derby, right? For us, at least. It's not for them because they consider the game with Parma to be the real derby for Reggiana. But for us,
really?
Yeah. We talked about it last season with Roberto Tegoni in Spazio al Prossimo. But yes, for us, the main derbies are, of course, with Sampdoria and Genoa, but because of the Liguria reality. But then we always have Pisa, Carrarese, and Reggiana. Should have not been Carrarese in Serie B. With Pisa and with Reggiana are very felt games, are very heated games. So strong rivalry in between the fan base. So anyhow, Spezia is in very good shape. I don't know how long it's going to last. I hope it's going to last for the rest of our history, of course. But I'm enjoying the present. But as of today, I would say Spezia is a better team on paper, is in better condition, better shape mentally. So I cannot predict anything else than a 1. And we'll see what happens then.
All right.
Next game, Mantova-Brescia. Mantova-Brescia. It would be an easy 2, but Mantova is not that easy to play against. I mean, as we said earlier, they have the same amount of points that Cremonese has, and they're playing at home. This is a tripla. It could be 1x2. I could say X because Brescia is playing away, but I don't know. Mantova-Brescia. I don't want Brescia to win because they're too close to us already. I hope, I'm going to predict this not because I see that there are more chances that it's going to materialize, but because this is the result that I would like to see. So I'm going to say 1.
1. Okay.
Highly unlikely.
Mantova is perfect at home. They have 3 wins from 3 at home so far this season.
Okay, cool.
Even though I think they're playing Brescia, so I'm going to say a draw, an X in this game. I think that's Brescia being the team that we were talking about. Mantova proving their strength at home. I think a draw in this case.
I think Mantova would take a draw. Like, it's not a bad result drawing at home with Brescia being a newly promoted team. So it's a fair prediction. Cosenza Südtirol, Jake.
Another long road trip. This time Südtirol having to make the trip all the way down south. We were saying, I think Cosenza is a much better team than what they are showing on paper. Let's see. This is very hard to predict. Südtirol, it's they haven't been very good so far, or they haven't been good recently. That's 4 losses in their last 5 games. So for this, I'm gonna say another draw, an X.
All right. So I root for Alvini. They need points. They need to prove themselves. Maybe equalizing in the final minutes of the previous game with the penalty allow them to gain some, enthusiasm. So I'm going to say 1. It's kind of sad to see my predictions for the week because they're only 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. But again, this is what I think right now. So what can I say? Next game is Palermo-Salernitana. Nice. Palermo-Salernitana. Palermo has to prove that he's coming back. Salernitana is currently not struggling, but they're not even doing that great either. So I wanted to see. I don't have it open. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm going to predict another 1.
Elia, I think you're cutting out a little bit with the
I'm sorry.
Wi-Fi a little bit. So if I don't hear something, that's sorry about that. I don't know if it's my Wi-Fi or yours, but no, it's understandable.
Hear it perfectly, but yeah, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But just in case if there's any trouble hearing, that's might be the cause of it. But anyway, Palermo Salernitana. I'm gonna pull a shock win. I'm gonna say Salernitana 2. I haven't picked it. I haven't picked an away team to win this round.
Right.
So
why
not? Why not?
Yeah, no, they're all open games, absolutely. And then there is Catanzaro-Modena.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes, you start.
Okay, Catanzaro-Modena. Oh man, I see a draw on this, an X. Like I really don't know. It's Caserta versus Bisoli. I have no idea I don't know if this will be a great game to watch. We'll see.
I doubt it. Yeah, no, that's why. X, Catanzaro, Modena, X as well. That's what I would have predicted indeed. And then the last game of round 8 will be Cremonese, Bari. Cremonese, Bari, Cremonese, Bari. Bari 10th place with 9 points. And Bari, Cremonese 8th. 10 points. They're very close. Bari is on in a positive streak, like draw, win, draw.
Yeah.
Cremonese, it's ahead with points, but they're winning some and losing some. So there is, in the last 5, loss, win, draw, win, loss. That's a tough one, man. Cremonese Bari. The last game, Bari did what? They draw. What did they do? We talked about it earlier. I forgot. Bari Cosenza 1-1. But they were winning and they lost a player. So maybe they're a better team that we give them credit for. Look, I gave an away win to Cesena, highly unlikely. Man, I'm taking too long. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Cremonese Bari, very open game. Cremonese Bari. I'm going to say 2.
Well, I hate to agree with you again, but I'm also going to say 2. I think it'll be another shock win, kind of a result we didn't really expect it. and Cremonese with this. It's not. Think if they do lose this game, I don't think it's necessarily a result that they want, considering the squad they have and the ambitions they want to have.
Right. No, it's gonna tell something. Just like Brescia winning the most recent game with them sent a signal, to the rest of the play of the teams. Should the Cremonese lose again, and should they lose at home, it would be another clear signal that they're not the teams that everybody was expecting them to be for this season.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
so we'll see.
We are at the end of our predictions. We talked about the previous round. We touched upon the next round, making our predictions. Is there anything else you would like to add, Jake?
Yeah, so no, I don't really have anything else because this is really another important game for Cittadella, and if they don't, I don't think it's the end of the world if they lose, but it definitely is not an ideal situation to be in. Like I said, there's going to be definitely some winnable games coming up, so we'll have to see about that. And it's another episode of Speaking Serie B. So thank you everyone for listening. You could also follow us on Instagram, Twitter at 𝐏𝐫𝐞-USA, and as well as YouTube 𝐏𝐫𝐞-USA for more on that. 𝐏𝐫𝐞-USA.com, where you can find our articles, news, all that stuff there. So go check us out.
Awesome. So if you like this content, we do invite you to interact with us by leaving us a comment, participate to our next live, and subscribing to both of our channels. We're present on YouTube and on Instagram, as Jake said. So thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next episode. And together we will be speaking Serie B.